So the most important thing about the BIOROWER is that it is not a linear drive erg. The reason for that is that the rowing motion, the original one, is very healthy. So we're talking about a perpendicular motion. Hands come together, across and out. So it's a full range of motion, cardio and strength workout. It's the best workout you can possibly do. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name's Aram, welcome to the BIOROWER work floor. Now this is a BIOROWER Pro, and today's video is all about how this thing actually works. Now first of all, the BIOROWER isn't static, it moves back and forth. So it moves back and forth on slides. The main idea of this is that instead of moving yourself back and forth like you do on many rowing machines, we are moving something else. It's just like in the boat. So either we push it away or we attract it again. And that reduces the load on your back dramatically. As we sit here, next point, you can see if I'm small, I can pull low. If I'm tall, I can pull high. So the handle height is variable, which means I can pull here or I can pull there. It is totally independent from any vertical level. That is a drastic difference to all rowing machines on the market. Next thing is, if you want, you can actually rotate your oar handles. We call this squaring and feathering in rowing. So if you want, you can practice this. You hear it, the solid sound. And at the catch, you do the same thing again. The reason why we do this is because the rotation of your handle is a significant factor when it comes to rowing technique. Now there are, and if you have seen the video, there are prototypes in the pipeline where you will actually have a full oar on the outside where you can see the blade work. This is fantastic! This is absolutely crazy! If you haven't seen the video, it's linked in the description. You can check it out right here. Another factor is that the length of your oar handle is adjustable, which changes the geometry of your cockpit. It is a difference if I pull on long oars or on short oars. And the idea is that your cockpit is as adjustable as your boat is. Now, if you've never seen a boat, this might scare you a bit, but it comes with a very good standard setup and you will be very comfortable with it. These rubber oar handles are optionally mounted. You can also take them off and just use the wooden oar handle. It comes as standard. Another very interesting feature is the adjustable foot stretchers. So if you open the lever here, you can slide this thing forward. Why would you do this? Well, if you have long legs, your position here is a different one. If your foot stretcher is too close to you, then it's when it's far away from you. So the idea again is to adjust the cockpit the way you want it. If you have never seen a boat and you don't know how to adjust it, a rule of thumb, almost literally speaking, is if you are in the finished position, so extended legs, your upper body is upright, your hands, when you're very close to your body, should almost touch each other on the thumbs. So you put your thumb on the outside of your oar handle, and then you should almost be able to touch. There's room to play with this, but that's my way of doing it as a coach. Now the idea is you lean back a bit more, and then you should have a fist between the two oar handles. The foot stretchers, of course, are adjustable in height as well. So you can take this part here and move it up or down. Now a lot of people ask me, how does the BIOROWER even work? I mean, why can you have independent oar handles? Well, the principle is that you pull on oars independently. So if you pull on the left, it doesn't have any effect on the right. If you pull on the right, no effect on the left. So you need to be synchronized because it all wears on the same resistance unit, which I'm going to show you just in a moment. The force is transferred down and through these rods right into a transmission. And transmission is the core part of every BIOROWER. It's the most delicate part and very, very difficult to build. You can adjust the resistance. The resistance consists of an air fan, which is a flywheel. It consists of a magnetic brake and a heavy rotation disc. So we call it a triple resistance mechanism. And what you adjust with the adjustment lever, which is right here, is the magnetic brake. So the most important thing about the BIOROWER is that it is not a linear drive erg. A linear drive erg, as opposed to a real rowing setup, comes with a bar on a chain and a round back, and it's essentially a deadlift with a very bad execution you do for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. And that will lead to back injuries in the long run. This was my problem, and this is why we started the BIOROWER, because I was part of the national team and had pretty bad back injuries from linear erging. Now the BIOROWER comes with the real setup, and it's no wonder a lot of these rowers row and race until they're very old. So in their mid-80s and early 90s or mid-90s, they're still actively racing, and there are many of them. The reason for that is that the rowing motion, the original one, is very healthy. So we're talking about a perpendicular motion. Hands come together, across and out. So it's a full range of motion, cardio and strength workout. It's the best workout you can possibly do. And it is easy on your joints because this thing is moving back and forth, and it's never a linear load on your spine. Now, the most important thing about the BIOROWER is that anybody can do it. That is something we learned. It is very simple to do that motion correctly, even though you've never touched a boat and you have no intention of touching a boat. Anybody can do it. And about 40% of our customers are non-rowers and physiotherapy studios. Now, the coolest feature about the BIOROWER Pro is the Imbalance mode. So this thing is built like a pendulum watch. So it's a in-frame construction, and you've got two bolts here. They limit the amount of play you've got on each side. You simply rotate them out or in, and you get springs. And these springs support you. Now, if you want a rodeo ride, you're going to remove the springs. If you want a bit of support but in balance, you keep them in. And with the bolt, with a nut here, you can adjust the tension of the spring. So the idea is to work on your balance even though you're not in a boat. Now, the cool thing about the BIOROWER is that we use true measurement devices. So instead of algorithms calculating flywheel speed and a bunch of nonsense, we actually use strain gauges. A strain gauge measures the bend of an axle inside, a 30 mil axle. And that bend is raw data that is transferred through this wire to this box. This box transmits the data through Bluetooth to your Android or iOS device. So both works on Android and Apple. On top, we've got a magnet here and an angle sensor. So we actually know where the oar physically is, and we also know how much force is being applied. And this is the raw data for work, and that's the raw data for watts. And this is why the BIOROWER has an accuracy tolerance of 1%, or in other words, an accuracy of 99%, which is why the BIOROWER is used for scientific research in various laboratories across the world and various universities. Now, how this app works is quite intriguing, because you can shape your stroke exactly the way you want. Now, if you're a coach and you run a large team, wouldn't you be interested to know exactly how your athletes are influencing the boat off the water? So you can shape a very cohesive team in sense of how to influence the boat before they even see the boat for the first time. And this is what I'm going to show you right now. So what you do is you turn on the sensors on both sides, then you turn on the app and get started. Now, there are various modes to look at. This is the overview mode. So you've got your stroke length left and right, you got the power left and right, you've got your 500 meter split, you get the power balance when you row, the distance, all the kind of parameters you could be looking for. And if that's not enough, you hit one of these icons and you can customize the screen to see any possible desired parameter. Let's take a couple of strokes and see how balanced I am. See, right now I'm pulling 90 to 52 in stroke length, 86-90, and I'm pulling 56 to 61 watts. My power balance is 48 to 51, now it's 50 to 49.5. You can shape your stroke. If you want to see graphics of how you are doing, you just go to balance mode. And this gives you a graph of each force curve. If that's not enough, you go to the signals mode. And this is where you see force curves on the bottom. Red is right side, left is green. So you can shape your stroke, and at the curves on the top show where you are positioned at any given point of the stroke. Now, this is your handwriting in rowing. And imagine everybody on the team had this. You could shape your team to have exactly the same influence as everybody else on the boat. And that would be an unmatched advantage. All right, that was a very short and very quick overview of what the BIOROWER is capable of doing. My aim is to have it feel as natural and realistic as possible, where our experience tells us that everybody who's ever tried a BIOROWER will purchase a BIOROWER. Now, be careful. If you try it, you might like it so much you're going to spend the money. With this being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.